Hello, welcome back to KXAN Live. I'm your anchor, Esmeralda Zamora. Thanks for joining us today on our space-based segment with KXAN's space expert, Eric Henrikson. Eric, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing excellent. It's a beautiful day out. We're doing a golf tournament here at work.
Yes, we are.
I lost today, and it's only day two, but everyone else is gonna. I got to see the stack. I was at the very top of the loser stack, so that's disappointing on so many levels. But otherwise, I'm doing great. That's a good way to start my Tuesday off.
Well, I'm sure tomorrow you'll get a better swing in.
Oh no, I'm out of the tournament. Completely
okay.
out. Yeah. Day one gone.
Day one gone.
I did bring a box of pretzels to the players today though, so I get to experience the golf tournament without
being in it.
Yeah.
Great sportsmanship right there.
There you go. Yeah. See, I'm such an athlete. So good.
Well, today we are going to be speaking about something that everyone's going to be able to see in the sky, but we don't really know what it is. Eric, can you explain to us what this particular star is?
It is a binary star system. It's called, I'm going to keep forgetting this, I've read it a million times today, T Coronae Borealis. And here is an animation from NASA showing it, but it's two stars. It's a white dwarf star, which is a small star, and then a big old star called a red giant. And what's happening is the white dwarf is essentially eating the red giant. And after a certain point, it's going to absorb enough of the red giant to, explode. Just like that. It's going to create what we call a nova. Now, this is different than a supernova. A supernova is when a star collapses and dies and explodes. A nova is when it's this kind of reaction where one star feeds off another star and then releases a lot of energy. But the stars will still be around when we're done, and they're going to keep doing this.
So there is an explosion related to this. Why?
It's just one star is eating the other star, and eventually it absorbs so much energy. So a white dwarf was once the size of our sun, but has collapsed to about the size of the Earth, but it's the same amount of mass. So it's got a lot of mass, a lot of energy, but it's in the right spot next to this red giant that's pulling this energy right off of it. And then it kind of destabilizes. And once it reaches a destabilization point, boom, which is a scientific term.
Boom.
Yeah. I like that. I like a multiple boom, 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 boom.
Oh, okay.
You know, it ripples out. The fun thing is, so this star system, I keep messing it up, T Coronae Borealis, which they're calling the Blaze Star. So I'm going to call it the Blaze Star for the rest of
That's easier.
Yeah, astronomers are just nerdy and called it the Blaze Star. It's about 3,000 light years away, so it doesn't pose any risk to us. It's, literally happened 3,000 years ago, and we're just now seeing the light reaching us, which is how, a light year is 1 year it takes for light to travel. This is 3,000 light years away, which means 3,000 years ago this happened. And it's supposed to happen sometime this week, sometime, the next few days, next few nights.
And where exactly is it happening?
So let's do the location. I have to kind of map this out in the sky. So if you look towards the east, find the Hercules constellation. Is also the Big Dipper is pretty close to this too. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be to the west of Hercules, which makes no sense when I'm looking at the map. But there's the map. Hercules, look to the right. Big Dipper, find that. The other ones are Arcturus and Vega. Those are two really bright stars. They're not the brightest stars in the night sky. That's Polaris, the North Star. Mm-hmm. But these two are two of the brightest stars. If you draw a line, look at that map. If you draw a line, I'm going to point, but you guys can't see that, from Arcturus to Vega. If you draw that line straight through that, that's where it's called the Northern Crown.
Northern Crown, the horseshoe-shaped
Horseshoe shape. Yeah, it's a crown. And it's Coronae Borealis, the Blaze Star, is right kind of, you see on the map there, it's kind of like the main, there's like three stars, and it's the one on the right there. So that's how you see it.
Who said this was the best way to locate it?
This is from NASA. This is NASA's map, by the way. This is the way they've shown it. I looked at a couple other star charts. The other way I saw was they have a lot of apps out that can chart where stars are, and you can literally pick up your phone and look through the sky, and it'll use augmented reality to find it, and you can use that too. So that was NASA's map. I'm also lazy, and I would use the app, but that's me, and that's the easiest way to see it. Now, it's expected to happen this week, this explosion. They expected it last year, but they seem to be more, astronomers seem to be a little more confident this year that it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. It'll last about a week. Once the explosions happen, we'll see the explosion for about a week.
A week?
Mm-hmm.
In your article, I was reading something about 4 hours.
Yeah, so the best time to see this is 3 to 4 hours after sunset.
Oh, okay.
So 3 to 4 hours after sunset, take a look up at the sky and you can see this see this, find that Hercules constellation, and you'll be able to spot this.
Well, in
easily.
the city, I definitely would recommend using that app because with all these lights, it's hard to even look for constellations.
The smaller stars, yeah. And actually, we have a really good weather week when we're kind of like, it's nice and cool out, less clouds in the sky. It's kind of, I mean, the camera right behind you, there's not really a cloud in the sky right there.
Nope.
So it's, you know, it's a good week to see a star like this. And the good thing is it lasts several days. It's not like the eclipse, which lasted, you know, a couple minutes in some of the best locations. And that actually was a year ago today, by the way. The total eclipse over Texas. But it's not like that where A, we don't have clouds in the sky, and B, it's only lasts a few minutes. This lasts a week. So you'll be able to see this for a week. This is how bright this explosion is and how far away it is. We'll have a few days to look up. Now, you're not going to see this giant bright cloud.
Explosion, or it's not going to light up the whole sky.
Right. It increases from the magnitudes like a 2 to a 10. So essentially, it's going to be the same brightness as the North Star. That's kind of a comparison point. So all of a sudden, over the next week, you'll probably see this really bright star and go, hey, what's that? Well, it's this. It's a nova.
Yeah. And if you have a telescope, even better to
Yeah, you get a really good view of it. What's cool is this one you can see with the naked eye. Yeah. So you don't need a telescope, but if you use a telescope, you'll be able to really get a good look at it, you know?
Yeah.
Or even
those pictures.
Send us the pictures. Yeah, you use binoculars too. That was one people I was reading said binoculars. Whoever has binoculars these days can still use those to get a good look at it.
And you said this occurred 3,000 years ago.
So that's where it first happened. Yes, it's 3,000 years, 3,000 light years away. A light year is the length of time it takes for light to travel 1 year. So that's the distance it travels in a year is how much light. So if it's 3,000 light years away, which is what NASA says it is, this actually is occurring 3,000 years ago. On top of that, it doesn't happen just once. It happens every few decades. The last time we spotted this from Earth was in 1943.
Wow.
So every few decades we get a good look at it. So, you know, if we live long enough, we'll be able to see this again in about 80 years.
That's interesting. It occurs every 10
Yeah,
10 or so years.
it's a feeding cycle. So one star is feeding off the other, and so it just gets full, you know, and then when it gets full, it burps. And this burp is, you know, a big explosion. That's a good metaphor. It's a baby, or actually it's like an old baby feeding off of an even older baby.
3,000-year-old baby.
3,000-year-old baby feeding off another and then burping after it gets full. That's basically what's happening, yeah.
Well, we have your article here on KXAN.com. It can be found right on the homepage. It's titled Blade Star Might Go Nova Soon, What to Expect. What did we not get to talk about that is in your article?
Ooh, nerdy stuff. The reason they thought it was going to explode last year is because stars, before they go nova, dim, which is why they think it's going to happen now. Because it dimmed last year. They thought, oh, it's going to happen really soon. It didn't. But it's still dim. So that's why they expect it to happen the next couple weeks here, sometime soon. They were always vague on the soon because last year they said it was going to happen like this week, and then it didn't. So now they're saying sometime soon. That's kind of the broad science term, but we'll see it. I think it's going to happen based on the amount of people saying it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen in the next couple weeks would be my anticipation.
Interesting. So we can find it there near the Northern Crown right here where it says Corona Borealis. Best time to see it is 4 hours after sunset.
4 hours after sunset, which sunset's happening around 8 right now, so about midnight.
Yeah, something
for you
like
night owls out there. I can't make it that late anymore.
Neither can I. In bed by 10. Well, thanks so much, Eric. This was a very interesting topic. I still think last week's was my favorite topic of all.
Oh yeah, last week's was fun. But we've had a lot of cool stuff lately.
Yeah, so. We have lots of space news here in Austin.
Absolutely, there's so much more. I have a couple other things in the pipeline that I'm looking at. So,
any updates from previous stories we've talked about?
So the polar explorers, the ones that orbited the South Pole and the North Pole, they landed a couple days ago, and so that was very successful. Oh, what was the other thing? I saw some cool James Webb and Hubble photos recently that were really exciting. So check those out online. A lot of cool stuff. Every day there's something new. I think it's Blue Origin's doing an all-female space trip, which has had some weird pushback from the Today Show of all places. Yeah, so that's coming up.
Katy Perry's going on that, right?
Yeah, I think it's Katy Perry and Gayle King, and I saw the list this morning. I was just kind of doing some reading. So fun stuff in the pipeline. A lot of things happening in space. We have a busy year ahead of us, so excited to see what happens next.
Yes, we're super excited, and we're excited to hear what we talk about next week on Space on Tuesday. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all we have today on our space-based segment. We'll be back later today with more streams. Don't forget, we have our app on any streaming platform. That is Fire TV, Fire Stick, Roku TV, Apple TV, and Samsung TV. It's KXAN Plus. You can download it in the App Store and see content like this or others on KXAN Plus. Thanks so much for joining us.